This is the Miller philosopher. War of the Rohirrim is the first Lord of the Rings movie to open up on screens in a decade, so naturally fans of multiple ages and generations are both excited, cautious, and also skeptical. And while the film does star, or at least is one of the major stars, as Hera, the previously unnamed daughter of Helm Hammerhand according to the appendices, the movie also presents an unspoken question about the lore that has been around long before the movie ever even entered the public forum or was an idea. That question being, what if Eomer had been killed during the Battle of Minas Tirith and Eowyn had survived? Would she have become the first Queen of Rohan? Now, there are a couple of ways to approach this. In the books, as we all know, he survives and becomes the King of Rohan after Theoden is killed during the same battle. Thus, the question need never be broached in the first place. Yet, if you read it the first go-around, that's not a definite, especially given that, again, Theoden dies and he's a major character. Another angle that hints more directly at this question is the film adaptation of Return of the King, where before the Rohirrim ride off to Gondor, Theoden tells a depressed Eowyn that should they fail, that his niece is to officially become the next ruler of Rohan. Now, I mentioned in another video that this statement is often overlooked for just how much of a big deal that is, as much as her chosen responses to it. Either way, as far as the adaptation goes, it's made quite clear that Eowyn is to be made the next ruler of Rohan and start the next line of rulers as well. Now, for both of these positions, there is some literary backup. It's made quite clear in the books as well, if you check out the Bloodline of Rohan Kings, that Eomer and Eowyn are the last of the House of Errol, the founder of Rohan, just as much as Aragorn is the last of the House of Elendil. There's no cousins or close relatives who Rohan could look to replace Eomer should he be killed and not have Eowyn become queen. And that despite Rohan having a tradition much like most of Middle-earth, that is the line of succession is passed down to the oldest male, the death of Eomer would put Rohan in a similar situation that I just indicated that Gondor found itself in centuries prior, near the fall of its sister kingdom of Arnor in the north. That is, that there is no male heir or close relative of the king to the throne. But there is still someone left of Eorl's bloodline directly in this question of if Eowyn would become queen. And of course, all this is under the theoretical assumption that Eowyn either stayed out of the Battle of Minas Tirith, in which case everyone there is going to be screwed, or that she survived her battle with the Witch King. So, would Rohan have accepted its first ruling queen? And especially given that she would have been married to a Gondorian. Would they have preferred that her husband become king instead of her? If the latter possibility happens and she survives the war and kills the Witch King, it would do much to add to her credit to be a worthy heir to the throne. Because not only has she killed a major enemy of the West, so to speak, but she has shown the courage and ferocity that would be expected of a Rohirrim warrior, and even more so of its noble house. And even though their situations would be similar, Rohan is not Gondor. Moreover, Rohan doesn't give me the impression that they are so hell-bent on having a king that any king will do, even an outsider. Rather, at least according to the books, Rohan is almost as xenophobic as their Gondorian allies during their heyday. They don't take trespassers lightly. If we are to take the Fellowship's first meeting with them, and Eomer's comments about Galadriel seriously. And even if Rohan was like Gondor, it's not like they would have been in a position to have the Rohan version of the Kinstrife, given their losses during the War of the Ring. Hell, if they did, then their culture would be dead because they could never sustain it like Gondor did. Now, having said all that, interestingly enough, even War of the Rohirrim and its source material and the appendices present this very dilemma, as in both accounts the sons of Helm are killed, leaving Hera, or if you want, the unnamed daughter of Helm, as the last direct person of that line. And of course, we all know that Theoden does take the throne because she is the nephew of King Helm, but that also points to, again, given that situation, that they had a nearby male relative that they can look to put another king on the throne. Whereas the question of Eowyn becoming queen, that option is not available. Either way, it's in my opinion, based strictly on the lore and nothing else, that if Eomer was killed and Eowyn had survived, she would have been the first ruling queen of Rohan because of the culture's high value on battlefield courage and maintaining their own distinct culture, even while peacefully interacting with others. They wouldn't have made Faramir king, even though they were at peace with Gondor, because Faramir is still an outsider, even if he married into their culture. And because of that, and again, Eowyn's battlefield record, he would have been sidelined as being a potential ruler. In other words, quite frankly, Rohan does not come across to me as devoted to having a male king as much as Gondor and most of the other cultures in Middle-earth are. But having said all that, let me know your thoughts below, and this is the Miller Philosopher. Have a good day.